structurally inadequate for real comb. Korvax's lecture ended with a wet crack that echoed across the training hall like a gunshot. The 17-foot reptilian instructor dropped like a felled tree, his reinforced jaw hanging at 3 impossible angles. Emma Martinez blinked. "Oh, shit! Oh, shit! I'm so sorry, I thought we were supposed to— Medical emergency, Combat Hall 7, the automated system screamed to life. Catastrophic structural failure, instructor down, repeat, instructor down. The emergency response team materialized in under 20 seconds, their anti-grav stretcher already deployed. Emma stood frozen, one fist still extended, watching in horror as green blood pooled beneath Korvax's twitching form. "I barely touched him," she whispered. "He said to demonstrate a counterstrike, and I pulled the punch. I swear I pulled it." Commander Zara burst through the entrance, her chitinous armor clicking with each rapid step, her compound eyes fixed on the scene. Decorated combat instructor unconscious, human recruit trembling, and scanner readings that made absolutely no sense. "Explain," Zara's mandibles clacked sharply. "Now." "He was demonstrating proper form, ma'am," Emma's voice cracked. "He kept saying humans were too fragile for real combat training, that our bone structure was basically compressed chalk, and he wanted to show me how a real warrior strikes. He threw a punch, super slow for demonstration, and told me to block and counter like I would against a real threat. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content." So I did. I barely even— She gestured helplessly at Korvax. "Where I'm from, that would have just been a warning tap." The senior medic looked up from his scanner, his purple face pale. "Commander, the structural damage is extensive. Jaw fractured in 3 locations, 2 facial plates completely shattered, cranial trauma consistent with high-velocity impact." "Impact velocity?" Zara demanded. The medic's voice dropped. "Ma'am, the bone density analysis suggests approximately 4,000 psi. The training hall went silent. 4,000? Zara's antennae snapped forward. "Check your equipment. Korvax's species has reinforced skeletal plating rated to withstand starship-grade impacts. That's impossible for an unaugmented strike." "Equipment is functioning normally, ma'am. I've run 3 diagnostic—" "Then scan the human. There must be hidden augmentation, mechanical enhancement, something." Emma held still while the medic passed the scanner over her right arm. She'd been at the Galactic Combat Academy for exactly 4 hours. This was supposed to be a cultural exchange program. Her principal had been so excited when she'd been selected. "Think of the grants, Emma. Think of the prestige." She was thinking about it. She was thinking about it very hard. "Commander." The medic's voice sounded strangled. "The human's bone density is reading at— This can't be right." "Show me." The scanner's holographic display flickered to life. Emma saw numbers she didn't understand, but she understood the expressions on the aliens' faces just fine. "That's impossible," Zara stated flatly. "Human skeletal structure is documented as exceptionally fragile. They evolved on a low-gravity world with minimal natural threats. Their bones break from simple falls. This reads like a battle-class Kragnari's skeletal density, but humans are— Ma'am." A young officer sprinted into the hall, tablet clutched in his claws. "Headquarters is demanding an immediate report. They're receiving trauma alerts indicating a catastrophic training accident involving lethal force against an instructor." Zara's mandibles ground together. "Tell them we have the situation under control." "They're asking about the human, ma'am, the cultural exchange participant. They want to know if she's injured." "The human isn't injured," Zara snapped. "Instructor Korvax is injured. The human did this." The officer stared. "The human? But that's— Ma'am, humans can't generate sufficient force to harm a Vrelnak's combat instructor. It's physiologically impossible. Our xenobiology reports." Are clearly wrong. Zara spun toward Emma, who was still standing exactly where she'd been told to stand, hands now clasped behind her back like a student waiting outside the principal's office. You, human, Emma Martinez, what is your profession on Earth? I'm a PE teacher, ma'am. Physical education. I work with elementary school kids. You teach combat to children? No, ma'am. I teach them how to play kickball and do jumping jacks. Sometimes dodgeball, but that's controversial in some districts. Zara's translator implant struggled with several of those terms. You work with children, small, developing humans. Ages 5 through 11. Yes, ma'am. And the force you just demonstrated, that was normal for interacting with these small humans? Emma's eyes widened. God, no. I'd never hit a kid. That was maybe 30%. I pulled it a lot because he's so much bigger than me and I didn't want to hurt. She looked at Korvax's unconscious form. Oh my God, I did hurt him. I hurt him really badly. I'm so sorry. I thought the demonstration was supposed to be realistic. 30%, Zara repeated slowly. The medic looked up from stabilizing Korvax's jaw. Commander, if that impact was only 30% of her capability... No one finished the sentence. They didn't need to. Emma shifted uncomfortably. Is he going to be okay? I can pay for the medical bills, or do you guys have medical bills? I have insurance, but I don't know if it covers interstellar... Be silent. Zara accessed her command tablet, pulling up the human assessment files. Fragile skeletal structure. Limited muscular capability, poor stamina, prone to injury from minor impacts, heat intolerant, requires frequent rest periods. She looked at Emma Martinez, elementary school PE teacher who had just shattered the jaw of our 15-year undefeated combat champion with what she considered a pulled punch. Get me Federation combat assessment on the comm, Zara ordered. Priority Alpha. We have a problem. The Federation Combat Assessment Officer appeared on the holographic display within minutes, his scaled face radiating bureaucratic confidence. Commander Zara, I've reviewed your preliminary report. With respect, I believe there's been a measurement error. Humans simply cannot... The measurement is accurate, Zara interrupted. 4,000 psi, verified across 3 independent scanner systems from an unaugmented human. Commander, our records show no species in the Federation generates above 2,800 psi without mechanical or biological enhancement. The human assessment files clearly indicate your files are wrong. Silence stretched across subspace. Finally, I'm dispatching Senior Combat Analyst Vex Thull to your location. He's trained in human physiology assessment. ETA 40 minutes. The comm cut off. Emma sat on a bench beside the medical bay, watching through the transparent wall as they worked on Korvax. 3 doctors surrounded him now, carefully reconstructing his jaw with what looked like tissue regenerators. He's really going to be okay, she asked for the 5th time. He'll require 6 weeks of recovery, Zara said, her tone clipped. His jaw will be rebuilt, but the neural trauma from the impact means he'll need extensive rehabilitation. I'm so sorry. When he said to demonstrate a counterstrike, I thought... Emma's voice broke. I teach 8-year-olds. I know how to pull my punches. I know how to be gentle. I didn't think... You stated you used 30% force. Maybe less? I don't know exactly. It felt like barely anything, like if someone swung at me in the parking lot and I needed to make them back off without really hurting them, you know. Zara didn't know. Nothing in her 40 years of military service had prepared her for a species that considered shattering reinforced bone plating barely anything. Vex Thull arrived 37 minutes later, his crystalline form refracting the training hall lights into rainbow patterns. Commander, I understand we have a measurement anomaly? See for yourself. Zara gestured to Emma, who waved awkwardly. Vex Thull circled her slowly. Scanner extended. Fascinating. The bone density is unexpected, but humans are known to have significant structural fragility. Their own medical literature documents frequent fractures from minimal impact. The PSI reading must be, "We need proper assessment," Zara cut in. "Standard combat evaluation protocol." Of course. Vexthul led them to the testing range, where reinforced combat dummies stood in neat rows. These are rated for training Category 5 combat species. They can withstand impacts equivalent to small arms fire. We'll start with basic striking assessment. Emma approached the nearest dummy, which stood at a solid 9 feet tall. "So just punch it? Demonstrate your normal striking technique. Don't hold back. These dummies are designed to..." Emma's fist connected with the dummy's center mass. The reinforced polymer core, rated to withstand starship hull impacts, crumpled. The entire structure folded inward like paper, then tore free from its deck mounting and sailed 15 feet backward before crashing into the wall. Vexthul's crystalline structure actually flickered. That's not possible." "Oh no." Emma stared at her fist, then at the destroyed dummy. "Was that expensive? I'll pay for it." "That was the demonstration model, right? You guys have actual equipment?" "That was actual equipment." Vexthul's voice climbed an octave. "Those dummies are used to train Kragnari shock troopers. They're rated for..." He checked his tablet. "They're rated for impacts up to 6,000 PSI. "But I barely..." Emma stopped. "Okay, everyone keeps saying I'm hitting really hard, but I promise I'm not. That was like, maybe 40%? I didn't want to break your stuff again." 40%, Zara repeated, the words coming out flat. "Yeah. I mean, I can hit harder if you need me to, but you keep saying humans are fragile, so I figured your equipment might be too. No offense." Vexthul pulled up another dummy, the reinforced model used for Category 7 species assessment. "Try this one. It's our highest-rated training dummy, military-grade polymer composite. It can withstand direct strikes from powered combat suits." Emma bit her lip. "You sure? I don't want to break..." "Just hit it!" She did. The dummy exploded. There was no other word for it. The impact point simply disintegrated, sending chunks of military-grade polymer composite scattering across the training range like shrapnel. The remaining structure toppled forward, split cleanly in half. "Okay, that one I felt," Emma admitted, shaking out her hand. "Maybe 60%? 70? My knuckles are a little sore." Vexthul's scanner slipped from his crystalline grip and clattered to the floor. This is impossible. The force required to shatter that composite would require augmentation, powered armor, vehicular impact." "Do you have actual combat equipment?" Emma asked again. "Like the stuff you use in real fights? Because if these are just training models, maybe they're not calibrated right." Zara and Vexthul exchanged a long look. "She thinks," Vexthul said slowly, "that our military-grade combat equipment is malfunctioning because it's not strong enough to withstand her casual strikes." She used the phrase, "a little sore," Zara added, "about her knuckles, after destroying a dummy rated to withstand anti-vehicle weaponry." "I'm standing right here," Emma said, "and I can hear you guys." Zara's comm unit buzzed. "Commander, we're receiving priority inquiries from 3 other Federation combat academies. They want to know if the human assessment files need updating." Zara looked at the destroyed dummies, at Emma Martinez casually rubbing her knuckles, at Vexthul's flickering crystalline form radiating pure incomprehension. "Tell them," she said slowly, "that we need a complete Federation-level review. And get me every xenobiologist who's ever worked on human physiology assessment." "All of them, ma'am?" "All of them. We have a catastrophic assessment failure." Emma raised her hand like she was still in a classroom. "I'm sorry, but did I do something wrong? You guys told me to punch the dummy." Federation's senior xenobiologist Jotaro descended from his transport with the confident air of someone about to solve a minor clerical error. His avian features ruffled slightly as he approached Zara, datapad clutched in his talons. "Commander, I've brought the comprehensive human physiology files, 17 years of research, peer-reviewed and verified. I assure you, whatever readings you're getting are simply equipment malfunction. Humans are fragile endurance species, optimized for... He stopped. Emma was jogging. She'd been jogging for the past 6 hours, ever since Jataro's transport had been en route. Around and around the training hall's perimeter track, her breathing steady and even. "Why is the human still moving?" Jataro asked. "She said she needed to warm up," Vexthul replied, his voice hollow. "That was 6 hours ago." "Warm up for what?" She didn't specify. Emma waved as she passed them on her current lap. "Hey, you must be the expert. Just give me a few more minutes. I'm almost loose." Jataro watched her disappear around the corner. Humans require frequent rest periods. Their cardiovascular system isn't designed for sustained... "She hasn't stopped," Zara said flatly. "Not once. No water breaks. No rest periods. 6 hours. No, that contradicts all established data. Humans overheat rapidly. Their cooling system is inefficient. They should be collapsing from heat exhaustion." "Should be," Vexthul agreed. "Isn't." Jataro pulled out his specialized scanner, custom-built for measuring human physiological tolerances. "We'll conduct a proper impact resistance test that will clarify this situation. Humans have documented pain thresholds far below Federation average. A Category 3 strike should..." "She destroyed a Category 7 rated dummy," Zara interrupted. "Then your dummy was defective. Bring me a standard impact calibration rod. We'll measure her actual tolerance." They set up in the testing bay. Emma finally stopped jogging and joined them, barely breathing hard. "Okay, ready when you are." Jataro calibrated his equipment with meticulous precision. "This will deliver incrementally increasing strikes to your arm. When the pain becomes uncomfortable, simply say, 'Stop.' We'll establish your actual pain threshold versus the exaggerated readings." "Sure thing." Emma extended her arm. The first strike hit. Jataro's instruments registered the impact. Enough force to fracture most species' bones. Emma blinked. "Was that it?" "Did you feel that?" "Yeah, it was like a tap. Are we starting soon?" Jataro increased the force. Then again. Then again. His instruments climbed past levels that should have shattered human bone structure, past thresholds that would hospitalize most Federation species, past readings that made his equipment's warning systems scream. Emma stood there, looking bored. "Is this thing working? I barely feel anything." "This is impossible." Jataro's feathers stood on end. "At this force level, your bones should be fractured in 17 places. Your tissue should be pulverized. Your pain receptors should have rendered you unconscious 3 minutes ago." "Oh," Emma rolled her shoulder experimentally. "I mean, it stings a little, like when you bump into a door frame, but it's not like pain, you know." "No, I don't know. Nothing about your species makes sense." Emma's expression shifted to something more serious. "Look, I don't know what your files say, but humans are pretty durable. We're persistence hunters." "Do you know what that means?" "Persistence hunters?" Zara's translator struggled with the term. "We evolved to chase prey until it died from exhaustion." Emma's voice carried the patient tone of someone explaining basic concepts to children, which, Zara realized, was exactly what she did for a living. "We can't run fast, but we can run forever. We'd track animals for days, sometimes weeks, just jogging after them until their bodies gave out. We can regulate our temperature through sweating, so we don't overheat like most predators. Our prey would literally run until their hearts exploded, and we'd still be coming." The training hall had gone completely silent. "Most Earth predators hunt in bursts," Emma continued. 30 seconds, maybe a few minutes of maximum effort, then they have to rest. Humans, we just keep going and going. We evolved to take damage and ignore it because stopping meant starving. A broken bone, you keep running. Torn muscle, you keep running. Pain, she shrugged. Pain is just information. Jataro's talons trembled on his datapad. Your combat doctrine. How long are typical engagements? In warfare, hours, sometimes days. We have documented battles that lasted months, with soldiers fighting continuously in shifts. Hand-to-hand combat, professional boxing matches go 12 rounds of 3 minutes each, with only 1-minute breaks. MMA fights are 5 rounds of 5 minutes, and that's just sport. Sport? Vexthul's crystalline form actually cracked. You fight for hours as sport? Oh yeah, we invented boxing for fun, wrestling, martial arts. We have dozens of combat sports. Most military training programs include sustained combat drills lasting, she considered, 6, 8 hours? And that's considered pretty standard? Zara's mandibles clicked rapidly. Our combat doctrine is based on maximum intensity engagements lasting approximately 30 minutes, followed by tactical withdrawal for recovery. Sustained combat beyond that time frame is considered physiologically impossible for sane species, Jataro finished weakly. Species that evolved with normal predator-prey dynamics. Species that don't chase their food until it dies from being chased. Emma nodded cheerfully. Yeah, we're pretty weird. My students think it's cool when I tell them humans are technically apex predators, though I have to explain that apex predator doesn't mean they can skip their homework. From the medical bay, they heard a commotion. 2 instructors emerged, collected their personal belongings from their lockers, and headed for the exit. Where are you going? Zara demanded. Resigning, ma'am, one replied. I trained for 15 years to teach combat to species who fight like sane beings. I don't train apex predators who invented fighting as recreational activity. Same, the second added. With respect, ma'am, I didn't sign up to teach something that hunts by making its prey die from exhaustion. 3 more instructors followed them out. Emma watched them go, confused. Did I say something wrong? Zara stood in her office, surrounded by 3 decades of combat training documentation, all of it suddenly worthless. Jataro perched on the edge of a chair, his datapad forgotten. Through the window, they could see Emma doing pull-ups. She'd been at it for 40 minutes without stopping. Explain the pain tolerance again, Zara said quietly. Jataro's beak clicked nervously. Humans have a neurochemical override system. When threatened, their bodies flood with compounds, adrenaline, endorphins, cortisol, that essentially shut down rational thought and pain response. They call it fight or flight. We have similar stress responses. Not like this. Jataro pulled up a holographic display. When a human enters this state, their strength increases by up to 40%. Their pain receptors are suppressed. Their blood clotting accelerates. They access energy reserves that would normally be restricted. And here's the critical part. They can maintain this state for extended periods. Zara's antennae twitched. The fragility assessment was based on humans at rest, in baseline, non-threatened state. Jataro's feathers drooped. We never tested combat-stressed humans because we assumed they'd be too fragile to survive combat stress. We documented broken bones from falls and concluded they were delicate. We never asked what they did after breaking those bones. What did they do? Kept fighting. Jataro's voice was hollow. There are documented cases of humans with broken legs walking for miles, humans with punctured lungs continuing combat, humans with catastrophic injuries fighting for hours before seeking treatment. We thought these were outliers. They're not. That's just what humans do when threatened. They override their own survival instincts. No, Commander, that is their survival instinct. They evolved in an environment so hostile that stopping meant death. So they don't stop. They can't stop. Their biology won't let them. The door chimed. Korvax entered, his jaw wired shut with regenerative scaffolding, a translator device held in one clawed hand. Commander, the device synthesized, I came to apologize to the human. They found Emma finishing her pull-ups. She dropped to the ground, finally showing signs of fatigue. Oh, you're okay. I'm so sorry about your jaw. Korvax's translator crackled. I am the one who should apologize. I mocked your capabilities. I called your species weak. I was wrong. Hey, no hard feelings, Emma smiled. Honestly, I've taken worse hits from 8-year-olds playing dodgeball. Kids don't know their own strength yet, and when a ball hits you in the face at full speed, she mimed getting smacked, you learn to duck faster. The translator device fell silent for a moment, as if struggling to process this information. You let your children throw projectiles at each other, Jotaro said slowly, at velocities sufficient to cause facial trauma. Well, yeah, it teaches hand-eye coordination and teamwork, though some districts banned it because parents thought it was too aggressive. Emma laughed. Too aggressive? For kids, we literally have to tone down our children's natural play instincts because they're too combat-oriented. Zara felt something fundamental shift in her understanding of the universe. Your entire species is like this. Like what? Endurance predators wrapped in deceptive packaging. You appear fragile at rest, then become functionally indestructible under stress. Emma considered this. I mean, yeah, pretty much. We're squishy on the outside, but really hard to actually stop. It's like... She searched for words. You know how some prey animals will play dead? Humans are the opposite. We play alive even when we should be dead. That's horrifying, Vexthul said from the doorway. That's brilliant, Zara corrected. Every predator species in the Federation hunts like a rational being. Quick strike, assess damage, retreat if necessary. But humans don't retreat, Jotaro finished. They can't afford to. If they stop, they die, so they simply don't stop. Emma shrugged. We also invented endurance sports. Marathons. Ultramarathons. We have people who run 100 miles for fun. There's this race called the Barkley Marathons where the goal is basically to see who can suffer the longest. Only 15 people have ever finished it in 35 years. And people volunteer for this? Vexthul asked. There's a waiting list. Silence fell over the group. Korvax's translator finally spoke again. I have instructed combat for 15 years. I have trained warriors from 47 species. I thought I understood combat capability. The device paused. I understand nothing. You understand combat between rational species, Emma said gently. Humans aren't really rational when we're threatened. We're just determined. Really, really determined. Zara's comm unit buzzed with increasing urgency. Messages from Federation headquarters, urgent requests from other combat academies, panicked inquiries from diplomatic corps. She ignored them all and looked at Emma Martinez, elementary school PE teacher, who had just casually redefined everything the Galactic Federation thought they knew about combat capability. We need to rewrite every engagement protocol, Zara said. All of them, Jotaro agreed, starting immediately. 3 weeks later, the Galactic Combat Academy looked fundamentally different. New warning signs adorned every training facility. Caution, human physiology under stress conditions exceeds standard safety parameters. The combat dummy inventory had been completely replaced with models rated for Starship-grade impacts. 5 new instructors had been hired specifically to handle the restructured extreme endurance combat curriculum. Emma Martinez stood at the front of a classroom, 23 alien recruits watching her nervously. Okay, so today we're starting with basic human-style conditioning, she said cheerfully. We'll do a light warm-up, maybe a 2-mile jog, some calisthenics, then practice sustained combat drills. Don't worry, we'll keep it to just 3 hours today since you're all beginners. A Vrelnak's recruit raised a trembling claw. Instructor Martinez, when you say light. Oh, super light. Maybe 20% intensity? I know you guys aren't built for endurance work, so we'll take it easy. She smiled reassuringly. Nobody's going to chase you until your heart explodes. That's advanced stuff. The recruit looked faint. Zara watched through the observation window, Jotaro beside her. The Federation Council approved the new human assessment protocols this morning, she said. Every human file now includes a priority warning. What does it say? Do not provoke. Species exhibits extreme capability escalation under stress conditions. Baseline fragility assessments are invalid during threat response. Recommend diplomatic engagement over combat engagement in all scenarios. Diplomatic, Jotaro repeated, because trying to fight them is suicide. Because trying to fight them is suicide, Zara agreed. Emma's comm unit chimed. She glanced at it, then raised her hand apologetically. Hey, I need to take a quick break. My sister's calling about… Oh man, I completely forgot about Jake's soccer game. I promised I'd be there. Soccer? Zara asked through the intercom. Emma's face brightened. Oh, it's this game where kids chase a ball around a field for 90 minutes. They run for miles, crash into each other, sometimes break bones. It's great exercise. Jake's only 9, but he's already super good at slide tackles. The classroom had gone silent. You let 9-year-old humans, Jotaro started. Play full contact endurance sports, Emma finished. Yeah, it teaches them teamwork and builds cardiovascular strength. Some leagues are non-contact, but Jake's is the competitive kind. Last week he took a ball to the face and kept playing with a bloody nose. I was so proud. She gathered her things, waving to the traumatized recruits. Just do some stretches while I'm gone. I'll be back in 20. I just need to grab some coffee first. Emma hummed as she left the training facility, already thinking about her nephew's game and whether she'd remembered to buy the good coffee filters. Behind her, Zara's comm unit exploded with incoming messages. Every combat academy in the Federation was demanding updated protocols. Diplomatic Corps wanted threat assessment reviews. Medical facilities needed new trauma response guidelines. All because one elementary school PE teacher had demonstrated what humanity had known for millennia. Humans didn't stop. They didn't know how. In the classroom, a Kranari warrior, decorated veteran of 16 campaigns, raised his hand with a trembling appendage. Instructor, he called to the empty room, I think I need to resign. Vexithol stood in the doorway, his crystalline form still showing hairline fractures from the stress of the past 3 weeks. Get in line, he said. I'm resigning too. Because of the human? Because we're supposed to teach combat to a species that invented combat as childhood recreation. I trained for 20 years. It's not enough. It will never be enough. Through the window, they could see Emma at the coffee station, laughing at something on her comm unit, completely oblivious to the existential crisis she'd triggered across the entire Galactic Federation. She took a sip of coffee, pronounced it pretty good, and headed back toward the training facility, ready to teach traumatized alien warriors the basics of human endurance. Just another Tuesday, she thought, just another absolutely normal Tuesday.